history. It dates back to a time before Egypt built its pyramids, to the Stone Age in Britain. Time has taken its toll, but this monument remains a marvel of ancient engineering. A circular ditch and bank surround the stones. Upright stones tower over 20 feet and weigh up to 45 tons. Horizontal slabs called lintels crown huge pillars. All these giants are made of sarsen, a local sandstone harder than granite. Yet they were carved and fitted like woodwork. Uprights were tapered and topped with knobs. These fit hollows on the bottoms of lintels. Curved lintels, joined by tongue and groove, formed a nearly perfect circle. And despite a slight slope, this ring of lintels was level to within inches. The sarsens dominate Stonehenge, but nestled among them are smaller stones, no less remarkable. Geologists determined these are bluestones, transported here from Wales, at least 150 miles away. Who built Stonehenge? How was it built? And why? For ages we could only wonder. Now, a new age is beginning. An army of archaeologists deploys around Stonehenge.
Hey, everybody!
Led by Mike Parker Pearson, the Stonehenge Riverside Project is nearly 200 strong, with scientists, students, and specialists in everything from astronomy to field survey.
We're 6 years into this archaeological project. It's one of the biggest in the world, I reckon. So it's a really big chance to find out some of the key questions about Stonehenge. We're on a mission. We're on a quest.
It's a quest to reconstruct the ancient world that gave rise to Stonehenge and resurrect the people who built it. The strategy is to dig not just at Stonehenge, but throughout the surrounding landscape. Stonehenge itself was extensively excavated during the 20th century. Those digs established that the monument was built in stages. Prehistoric people chose a rolling stretch of Salisbury Plain. And around 3000 BC, they dug a ditch, a bank, and a ring of 56 pits into the underlying chalk of the plain. These pits probably held the bluestones, brought all the way from Wales. Then, some 500 years later, the colossal sarsen stones were installed. The bluestones were pulled from their outer ring and rearranged among the sarsens. Several other stones completed the monument. And later, parallel banks would define a processional avenue that stretched all the way from Stonehenge to the River Avon. Twentieth-century excavations also uncovered the dead of Stonehenge. In the 1920s, nearly 60 human burials were excavated here, many in that outer ring of 56 pits known as the Aubrey Holes. But the discoveries were hardly acknowledged, because these were cremation burials.
These people had been cremated, so they didn't have nice skulls with gleaming teeth to display. They had bundles of ash and bits of broken, burnt bone. The archaeologists weren't interested in those as objects. At that time, it was firmly believed that there was nothing you could learn from looking at cremated bone.
Not a single museum in Britain wanted the bones, so in 1935 they were reburied in Aubrey Hole number 7.
The idea that Stonehenge was actually one of, if not the biggest cremation cemetery in early prehistoric Europe, just disappeared into the ground, into Aubrey Hole 7, and was forgotten about.
The bones were left undisturbed until today. Mike Parker Pearson has come to retrieve the dead of Stonehenge. To him, they represent a treasure trove of information.
With closer analysis of those remains, even though they're burnt, we can work out people's approximate ages. We may be able to work out if they're male or female. We may even be able to find out more about their standard of life. So it's a really important opportunity to learn about the Stonehenge people.
Records from 1935 state the bones were placed in 4 burlap bags and buried with a commemorative plaque.
This is the first time anybody has seen a decent Aubrey hole for a good 80 years. It's quite impressive, but it's what's underneath it, it's lower down, that's what we're most interested in. And we're getting close. So.
Oh, look.
What's that? Is it?
Suddenly, they spot a tiny piece of bone.
Yep.
It's bone, yeah.
There's more. It's all over the place.
The burlap bags that contained the bones have rotted away.
I think we've just got to very carefully loosen the soil bit by bit. Is it desperately uncomfortable?
Yeah, it is quite.
Yeah. So we're just going to take it in turns and do as long as each of us can stand.
Till the blood rushes to your head and you start to feel faint.
That's already happened. There we go, here we go.
Oh, look what I found.
The blood. There it is. Okay, read it out for us.
Most of these bones were dug up in the years 1921, 1922, 1923, reburied 1935.
Yeah, but actually it doesn't tell us anything we don't know, does it?
I know, but isn't it nice?
We finally reached the bone layer. I think we were all hoping that the 2 men who buried these bones for posterity would actually put them in decent containers. But all we're really looking at is very loose cremated bone.
Oh, crikey.
That's a lot of bone. We've lifted the plaque, and what we saw underneath was quite a shock. Just a complete jumbled mass of bone from who knows how many people. The plaque has stopped soil falling down in amongst them. So as the sack rotted, the bones were left completely clean, but it's going to be a serious jigsaw puzzle in the lab.
I was hoping it was going to be easy, but this is the worst case scenario.
Little remains of the people of Stonehenge. What do we know of their world? Around 3000 BC, the age of the pharaohs begins in Egypt. The first cities are flourishing in the Near East with writing and wheeled vehicles. The use of metal is spreading across Europe, but has yet to reach Britain. Here, the Stone Age is in its final phase, the Neolithic. The stone axe reigns supreme. With this tool, people clear forests and shape the timbers of their homes. Their settlements are small and scattered. They keep livestock and move with their herds. They raise barley and wheat.
People tend to get the impression that in the Neolithic, life was grim and short. That's not necessarily the case at all. People generally seem to have been probably fairly well nourished. They would have had access to quite good food resources. They were obviously sophisticated, and they're probably having a fairly good lifestyle.
Their stone tools and fine pottery have survived the ages. But objects crafted of wood, plant fibers, or leather have mostly vanished in Britain's climate and soil. The fabric of their daily lives, their customs and their beliefs have long eluded us. But the remains of their dead are providing new clues. At Aubrey Hole number 7, Jacqueline McKinley joins the excavation effort. An expert on ancient human remains, she quickly spots individual features.
It's a nice long piece of fibula. Brilliant. Probably second or third molar. That's the back of the skull, look. In fact, that's a chap. That's a male. Jolly good. It's a very important collection. We're in a very important place. Although it looks like a mass, by separating out the different skeletal elements, we can work out how many people there were in there, and the sex and the age of those individuals. Looking at the amount of material we've got, I would think we're going to get at least 50 individuals in here.
In all, 35 pounds of cremated bone are eventually sent to the University of Sheffield. Graduate student Christy Cox is resurrecting the dead of Stonehenge, bit by bit.
There's thousands and thousands of bone pieces. It's far more than we ever anticipated when we originally started the excavation.
This should join here. That is just amazing. So we're looking at this bit down the side here, where the mandible goes
So it would be
up.
the TMJ joint.
Yeah, and that suggests that we've got an older individual.
The bones reveal that burial at Stonehenge was reserved for a select group.
With a normal domestic cemetery, you'd expect to find a range of ages and individuals from both sexes. But most of the cremated bones are from adults, and the majority of those adults appear to be male, and mostly in the 25 to 40-year age group.
We're seeing just a slight wear and tear on the bones in this population. So they were fairly healthy, they were fairly robust male individuals.
If you've mostly got male cremations in there, that's something odd. That means that certain people are being selected for burial here. What was special about them?
I suspect they may well have been people of important political stature. Quite possibly the men in one or more royal lineages whose authority made Stonehenge possible in the first place.
So what this could be indicating is actually at the time Stonehenge was built, we have an aristocratic, male-based society. Now that's something we would never have known without these bones.
Perhaps one royal family marshaled the manpower to create Stonehenge. And across the British Isles, other families or clans built their own stone circles. Nearly 1,000 still stand today. Neolithic people also raised timber circles. Today, all that remains are traces of post holes. But their size indicates some held tree trunks 15 feet high, weighing several tons. Enormous pits were dug to hold these timbers and standing stones. And many circles were enclosed by a circular ditch and bank, an earthwork known as a henge. How did people with Stone Age technology manage to build on such a vast scale? Near Stonehenge, Parker Pearson's team excavates a prehistoric ditch carved into the chalk of Salisbury Plain. Suddenly, an ancient digging tool comes to light.
Oh, look at that.